final round of the E-BaTCC 2026 Championship. And we're back in Lithuania and back to Nemuno Ziedas. Well, not back to Nemuno Ziedas, back from last season to Nemuno Ziedas, not back this season. If we look at the championship standings, it's Zykin at the top of the leaderboard, 172 points to his name. Kutz comes in second. He sits at 170 points. Then comes Juknavicius and Žadeikis, 141 and 134 respectively, and Jofert at 134, Kirsis at 130 and 120 for Svetin. So it's a tight battle at the very top of the championship. It's a tight battle for the final podium spot as well. And well, I guess it also depends on how it goes for those guys at the front, because even the likes of Žadeikis and Juknavicius can still technically catch up. It's a difficult task for them, but they still can do it if the others have a bad weekend. And we'll be keeping track of those standings, of course. And with half a minute to go to the end of this qualifying session, Žadeikis leads it by 1.5 tenths ahead of Juknavicius, who improves up to second. And I'm joined, as always, by Laurinus.
Hi, Gustas, and hello everyone. Welcome to this final race of the E-BaTCC 2026 Championship. And yet, it's very tight at the front between the two Lithuanians, who are currently third and fourth in the standings. Only half of a tenth difference in the battle for pole position, though Juknavicius is already out of this session, back into the pit lane, preparing for the first race. Žadeikis is still on racetrack, but he's not improving. We cannot see how much worse is his first sector. Maybe it is that because Žadeikis still stays on the racetrack. We've seen Juknavicius setting a couple of faster sectors. No, that's not going to be an improvement for Žadeikis. So it means that guys, the drivers still have a little bit of time in the pocket, and Miškelis goes fourth fastest, almost making 3 Lithuanians at the top at home circuit. The track has no chicane, though, that we usually have on the real racetrack. The cars approach turn 1 at much higher speeds, and I'm pretty sure they require a little bit of braking into turn 1, which usually is not the case when these real Turbo Cup cars drive on Nemuno Ziedas. Because coming out of that chicane, you slow the car down, and you don't need to slow that down too much into turn 1. Okay, qualifying session is over. Gustas will guide you through the results.
Edna Žadeikis takes pole position at home, almost home, ahead of Juknavicius, Svetinis, Miškelis, Narbutas, Kutz. Down in 6th, 7 for Tanianos, 8 for Zykin, 9 for Skaiskans, and 10 for Jofert, only 11 for Kirsis. So those are results, and I'll try to figure out how the championship would look like if the race were to finish like this, and that might be a pretty decent change at the top, or at least the drivers closing in at the top. I'll try to work that out right now.
It's always a calculations time in the final races, and we have these 2 races. The results will add up, so both races are important, and Gustas correctly said, theoretically and actually practically, both Juknavicius and Žadeikis still have a chance. So does Jofert, I assume, and Kirsis, because it's only 4 points. Well, it's 11 points that separates 4 drivers, starting from P3. We have this beautiful glitch now of day and night transition. I think the drivers are seeing all in bright light as we prepare ourselves to get going. Gustas, you ready?
For the first night race of the season. Let's see how long this night lasts as the drivers get ready to go and the sun comes up. It's the final round of the championship, and we're underway. Žadeikis leads out of the start and should lead down into turn 1. He's ahead of Juknavicius, who had a decent enough start to hold on. A little bit of contact down into turn 1, but all looks fine. Behind, though, it's Miškelis, Svetins, Narbutas, Kuts, and Narbutas side by side. Then it's Zaikin up to P7. And down the hill they plunge. Žadeikis continues to hold on to the lead. And to the inside, big move from Juknavicius, but Žadeikis doesn't want to give up. He stays in the lead, and now Miškelis is trying to attack Juknavicius, who had a bad run out of the right-hander. Now it's more about defense for Juknavicius, but he holds on to second position, at least for now. A little bit wide, actually from Juknavicius that was wide. And looking on board with Svetins, who's the fourth car in this pack, and everybody right behind each other. It's pack racing all the way. As they go up the hill, it's going to be one lap completed. No chicane here, so everybody just keeps on going flat out all the way down to turn 1, side by side. Svetin's trying to make it side by side, but he's trying to go to the outside down at turn 1. But has enough space to actually cross back and try and make the move on the exit into the double left.
That's gonna be a move. This is very thoughtful from Svetins. I think Edvin Žadeikis made a very similar move last year, outsmarting your rival, just not giving him the room on the outside before the first corner. And Svetins and Miškelis now side by side, small contact between the drivers. Svetins runs slightly off the racetrack. He's gonna lose plenty of positions because that gravel slows you down quite much, and there was plenty of cars behind. In between the cars we have Kuts and Zaikin, two championship leaders, currently 5th and 6th, and I think if Zaikin finishes both races 5th and Juknavicius wins, or Žadeikis wins both races, that might be enough. So for this moment being, Žadeikis is doing the job that he needs to do. He needs to defend from Juknavicius. We've seen moves shaping up which didn't took place, but they are still in a battle. Both drivers want that win. Though Kuts and Zaikin, they will try to make their race as safe as possible in a tight as possible race. Svetins now dropped to P7 after one overtake attempt, which was really smart. I don't think there was contact that needs to be reviewed. It's going to be close racing from start to finish here on the Nemuno Ziedas racetrack. Without the chicane, the cars reach a much higher top speed before turn 1, but we have a little bit less corners for those overtakes. That's Jofert and Talianos side by side.
Battling for position. Jofert into P8. And Juknavicius still super close to Žadeikis. He comes in with more points here, obviously. He pretty much needs to win both races. Actually, it's the same for both of them. They pretty much need to win both races. If Juknavicius wins both for Zaikin, he needs to finish 3rd in both races. That's the minimum for him. He would win the championship by 1 point in that situation.
Zaikin's gonna go for a move. Kuts was off the racetrack. You can see that in the small left screen, and Kuts had his one wheel on the grass. Now Zaikin tries to make an attack as we still focus on the battle for the lead between Žadeikis and Juknavicius. They both have space now. Edvin Žadeikis goes defensive. I'm not sure if that was necessary. I'm not sure how...
I don't think Juknavicius wanted to make a move. He stayed on the outside. He didn't do anything. I think he wants to get away. That's probably his idea here. He wants to get away from the rest of the pack. They've got a good gap at the moment, 1.6 seconds to the rear. If they can keep pushing each other, they might be able to run away, but they're getting embroiled into a battle. Contact down into the braking zone, and off the road goes Žadeikis. Juknavicius to the lead, but there was contact, and well, we'd have to look at it more to see who's actually at fault, and I'm sure the stewards will, but Juknavicius now leads the race, 0.7 ahead of Miškelis. as they run through. It's another lap completed, 15 minutes to go, so only 5 minutes of this race done so far. Let's see if Ziedas can actually find a way to claw back up the field, as this has moved Kuts into 4th, Zaikin into 5th. And good news for Kuts, because from 4th place onwards, the gap between the points widens, and it's actually 2 points between 5th and 4th. That would put them equal on points. However, Zaikin does have more race victories, so the tiebreak would go to him. Kuts needs to move forward, that's for sure. Side by side between that's Ziedas and Jofert. Yep. And Ziedas coming back at him. He doesn't want to wait. Just has to be careful not to take someone out. Obviously, he was involved in that contact. And no, I think he'll hold on to that position. Talianos really had nowhere to go there.
Yeah, and that's about it for Ziedas, actually. No matter what happened between Juknavicius and Ziedas, that will not change the outcome for Ziedas. That could even make the outcome worse for Juknavicius if he is facing some sort of a penalty, which we can only assume. We didn't see the contact clearly. That would
there's still a battle for 3rd in the championship. That's not done. So, I mean, it might not change anything for his chances at the title. It might still change something for his chances at a podium finish. To the inside, down at turn 1, a little bit of contact and a little bit of sideways action. This might actually be an opportunity for Talianos from behind. Some extra contact between them. Talianos thinks, maybe I'll stay behind and see what happens here, as Ziedas goes up and into P7 now for him after that slight contact down at turn 1. He'll be trying to catch up to the rest of the pack, and that might be a help to Juknavicius, who's actually got Meškalis super close to him, as Meškalis is trying to make a move here.
I think Juknavicius must have made a mistake. Maybe he put that wheel onto the gravel on the exit of Ąžuolas corner, because Meškalis was about 1 second behind, and it seemed that Meškalis was running just a little bit slower, so I'm pretty sure that was a mistake by Juknavicius, who allowed now Meškalis to come very close. Let's see if Meškalis is wishing for a victory, how thirsty Meškalis is here in this racetrack. As soon as he got a chance, this is a smart move, similar to what Jofert did a couple of laps ago, but no, Juknavicius went to the outside.
Runs wide, though. He runs wide. He's not going to have the exit that he wants. He'll try to defend down into the double left and should hold on to the position. Meškalis not trying to make any crazy moves either. He wants to probably get away from that chasing pack as well. So we'll see if they can try and work together. I said that about Juknavicius and Ziedas, and they had a crash at the very next corner. So let's see what happens between these two into the braking zone here. Nothing so far, but obviously that slipstream a big help. While Meškalis was slower before, he can now, maybe not easily, but he can definitely keep up with the race leader. They're running away from Narbutas behind as well.
Good race by the Lithuanians, actually. If not the contact between Juknavicius and Ziedas, we would have a lot of Lithuanians in front. So that just only tells that the Lithuanians love this circuit, and the names like Edvinas Ziedas, they have raced here quite a lot of times, and they know this track in and out. It's a slightly different combination than what the drivers are used to driving on the real track.
Wow, very wide from Narbutas there, almost went off the road. But that looks still fine for him. Actually, this is a big battle here. This is for P4 and big championship points for those two championship protagonists, and they've got Svetins right in the middle of it. Zaikin, I'm sure, doesn't want to do anything crazy and make a move that might...
Kuts put... Yep. And that's gonna be slow. That should be slow, but it's not too slow, actually. I thought Kuts will lose all the momentum, and that would allow... Well, it did allow Svetins to come a little bit closer, but not too close enough. As the drivers just show how much of speed they put into the corners around this racetrack. They just try to use all the possible width and risk it all, even if that means one wheel of the track. The gravel here very similar to how it is on the Bikernieki racetrack, that slows the cars quite drastically, but it looks like Kuts managed to pull away from that situation. He even had one wheel in the air, and he's still in front of Svetens and actually managed to pull away slightly after that corner.
I think for Svetens, it's a difficult situation for Svetens because if he tries to make a move, he has to make sure he can get it done because he'll get swallowed up by Zaikin behind. So has to be careful. Meškanis is definitely staying back. He wants to run away with the leader. That's working. 1.5 behind to Narbutas. So Meškanis driving a smart race here. And I think you can now just getting used to having him behind and not having to defend. The only thing is, don't run into the back of him, and maybe Meškanis will have a chance come the final lap of the race or so, because he's able to keep up, and that's the important thing. Žadeik is closing in on the pack in front of him, but they'll have to start fighting for him to have a real opportunity at moving up. Battle for 16th spot, Juris and Srubas. Going head-to-head. And actually, who's in P21 instead of Couches? He's all the way down, so something happened to him. And I actually saw that at the beginning, so probably something happened to him at the start of the race. Battle, though, between Zaikin and Svetens, and battle between Kirsis and somebody else. But Zaikin and Svetens are side-by-side here. Actually, a lot of cars side-by-side. For P4 as Zaikin tries to find that opportunity on the inside into the left, but he'll be on the outside for the right and has to stay behind. And this is the difficulty in making a move when you've got a 3-car pack like this. You have to really calculate where you make that move or you'll get eaten up. To the inside goes Svetens. Can Kuts hang on? And this might be a chance for Zaikin to now go down the inside. Kuts still side by side, a little bit of contact, and to the inside goes Zaikin, up a spot, down a spot for Kuts, and this is crucial in the championship fight. Žadeik is though on the back of them, and now he wants those positions. I'm sure he's seeing red after that contact. He wants to get right back up the field, and he's got a great opportunity, less weight on his car as well, compared to those two championship protagonists who are still battling out on track. To the outside tries Kuts. He might try and make the switch back on the straight, but I don't know if he'll have enough speed.
Ooh, what's Svetens doing?
Interesting. I guess he...
It looks like he tried to let Kuts through. Maybe he had a contact or something with him, because Kuts lost the position at the chicane corner.
Well, he did have contact there on the exit. I'll probably let him through. I'm not sure Žadeik likes that one. He would have preferred them to stay the way they were. And now he'll have that blue car, light blue car in front of him to try and overtake. Good news for Kuts, good news for Zaikin as well. That charge will be slowed down, at least for now. Meškanis is now 0.5 back from the lead, so he's losing a little bit of time, but he's gained enough time from Narbutas behind to, I think, be able to stay in second place towards the very, very end of this race. So smart driving. If he would have tried to battle, that would have definitely put Narbutas in that pack as well.
Yep, we also have a battle for pole position now. Kirsis against Stalianos. Stalianos is currently 10th, and that's what we see in the left-hand corner. Both cars are very close to each other, and both drivers are also quite high in the standings. Well, Stalianos is 8th with only 92 points, but Kirsis is 6th with 130 points. He wants better points in this race, and if he manages to finish 10th, that means he'll get the pole position for second race. And a lot of times people manage to win starting race 2 from pole position just because the faster drivers stuck a little bit, and if they make good start, they have the highest chances actually to finish successfully in front. So this is also a very important battle. With 4.5 minutes on the clock, we still have these 4 cars running very close to each other. I think Jofert and Skaistkalns may be trying to gain a little bit on this battle. They are 2 seconds behind, but as soon as Edvin Žadeikis will start making moves, they're gonna lose time. Miškelis just made a small mistake. Oh, Žadeikis was pretending to go to the inside. Both drivers running wide. There was a small contact between Žadeikis and Svetins. Nothing too dramatic. Žadeikis keeps his car behind Svetins. So it was not intentional. Look at how much time both drivers lost. So smallest attempt of an overtake cost plenty of time. And the speed of the cars, the speed of the drivers is basically identical, only hundredths of a second separating the speed of the drivers, so it's definitely really hard to make a move here. You have to be smart, you have to be aggressive in some parts of the racetrack, as Kuts and Zaikin side by side into chicane corner. Zaikin holds the inside. This can end up nasty. The drivers have to be very polite to each other, and Kuts actually backs out of it. He was on the outside, runs a little bit wide. This is going to be a chance for Svetins. That's what caused Svetins and Žadeikis the battle before. They lost too much ground here for Kuts and Zaikin. If they would not have that small contact, I think we would have another situation here on the chicane corner.
It's a big thing for Kuts though, because that was his direct championship rival. So he doesn't want to lose an extra spot. That would be another 5-point swing, as Jofert's still battling on here for 8th. I think the battle for 10th is done though. And Svetin's still on the back of Kuts. Let's see if he can try and close up somehow. Miškelis has held on well. He was about half a second back. He's pulled it back down to about 4/10. So he's doing a good job there. Should be 2 to go at the line. And he might try an opportunistic move on that final lap of the race. Here's on board with Žadeikis is very sideways from Svetins in front, and Kuts wide. And Svetins even more sideways, and for sure Kuts wants Žadeikis to try and make a move ASAP, and let's see if he can try and do that down into turn 1. If he can slow Svetins down just a little bit, Kuts can try and focus up on the front. 2 to go in race number 1 of round number 4. As they all close up, Žadeikis to the inside, he boxes in Svetins, who can't try and make a move on Kuts, as they're still side by side, but a great move from Žadeikis and keeps up the speed. Kuts has to look behind as well to not get dive bombed into the left. He doesn't, as Žadeikis finally moves up into P6. So even with the pace advantage that he has, you can see how difficult overtaking is, and that will definitely be the case once we head into race number 2. Miškelis is still close though, and that will be an interesting fight to follow on that final lap of the race, as the 2 white cars at the front of the field, not with us 3.5 behind, so these 2 have gone and escaped out. Miškelis is still super close, a little bit sideways from Juknavicius. This might be the opportunity. They'll start the final lap of the race as they cross the line.
Yeah, Miškelis tries to look for different lines. This is a very smart move into turn 1. You just try to squeeze your rival to the inside, try to compromise their entry and force to run them wide. But this is Juknavicius, not a rookie.
Happened. Juknavicius went super wide, but Miškelis couldn't find a way down the inside. He had to stay to the outside. He'll stay behind for at least one more corner. A little bit of contact, but they both survive. Now into the right is an overtaking opportunity, and then the final one comes into the left-hander at the end of this straight. Good exit from both of them, but Meškenis sits in that slipstream. It's the closest he's been since catching up all those laps ago. And this is a final lap opportunity as he goes to the outside. He thought he didn't have the space on the inside. More contact as they're both sideways. And Meškenis and Juknevičius just survive in the positions they came into the corner with. And again, Juknevičius has contact at that left-hander, but both of them will survive and hold on to their positions. And I'm sure the stewards will look at that one as well, but I can't really pin the blame on anybody there. We'll have to look at a replay. But for now, Juknevičius takes the win in race 1. He does the maximum that he could. Then it's Meškenis, Narbutas, Zaikin, and Kuts in P5, with Žadeikis in 6th, 7th for Svetens, Joford in 8th, 9th for Skaiskans, and Telianos takes pole position for race number 2. Kirsis down in 11th, right outside that bubble. I'll try to calculate where we are in terms of championship standings.
Oh, so yeah, that was tight. So the beginning promised a lot for both Juknevičius and Žadeikis. Now it's basically Juknevičius who stays the one who might try and put a rivalry on Zaikin and Kuts, but now it's going to be a reverse top 10 grid situation, and usually the drivers struggle a lot, and you've seen on this racetrack it's really hard to make a move. It's possible. You have to outsmart your rival, you have to have that edge, that speed advantage, but the beginning of the races, I just hope everyone survives it. It was clean and beautiful so far, so hopefully it will stay that way. As Gustas tries to calculate the results, we are...
So a big mover down was Svetens in this race. Actually, we we looked at him driving. We didn't really mention that he started out in P3, dropped all the way down to P7. Right now, looking at the championship standings, we've got Zaikin on 194, Kuts on 190, so 4-point difference between them. Then comes Juknevičius on 181, 153 for Žadeikis, 151 for Joford, Kirsis on 144, and 138 for Svetens. So those are the championship results as we head into the final race. For Juknevičius to win the championship, he pretty much has to win the race, essentially. If he does win, third or lower is enough for Juknevičius to win. And if Zaikin finishes second, that wouldn't be enough. For Kuts and Zaikin, it's a much simpler calculation, only a 4-point difference. They'd need a 5-point swing, though, to have anything happen in there. And that's the difference, actually, between second and third. So still opportunities, but definitely has to move into that podium-ish position, I think, to see a change. And Meškenis and Narbutas got podiums. Podium is the second tiebreak. The first tiebreak is on race wins. And the podium is our next. The podium amount is our next tiebreak. So that doesn't play into the championship, and we'll have a short little break and come back to you for the final race of this season.
voice inside my head isn't dead, I think it's growing. Soon we will be one and the same. I've been going to the racetrack, spent all my money on the dog in the bed. I put my heart into an 8-track cab out there. My life was perfect, but it's starting to crack. Oh no.
Welcome.
Here we are back on the circuit. It's still a short little break until we go green for race 2. I'm trying to see what... I don't think there are any changes. We can look at the BOP as well. Ziedas comes in with 5 kilos on his car. Svetens has 5, 10 for Kirsis, 30 for Kuts, 25 for Zykin, 15 for Yuknagis, and 5. And yep, that is all. So definitely advantage Yuknagis in the championship battle. Between the front two in the championship, there's not really that much of a difference. It's only 5 kilos. Here we go. Final race of this E-BaTCC season. Who will be crowned champion? I'll let you know in about 21-ish minutes time. That's when we should finish the race. But obviously still, results will be provisional. Stewards will have a look at everything that happened throughout these races as the lights come on for the final time of this new BMW Turbo Cup, the E-BaTCC 2026 season. The final race is underway, and a good start from Talianos, who holds on to the lead down into turn 1 and gets in front. Meshkalis now getting overtaken by Yuknagis, who's on the inside. Down into turn 1 they go, side by side between, that's Narbutas. I see Kuts in there as well. Zykin down to 7th and 8th, battling side by side there, as that's Kuts you see in that liveried car. As they go down the hill, he's still side by side. Battle for P6 as Kuts goes to the inside, gets pushed, and I think got pushed by Yuknavicius there from behind. Zykin down to 9th as Yuknavicius down to 8th as he battles Meshkalis. More contact there, and side by side between Meshkalis and Yuknavicius down into the left. And Yuknavicius slots in front of Zykin, who's running in 9th, 6th for Kuts. This is actually very, very good news for Kuts, as this is the battle for the lead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars bumper to bumper as they go up the hill. Down it. Ooh, that was a slide from behind. Contact from behind somehow.
I don't know, that Skyscal's showing a little bit of drift mastery on the hill, running down that straight. That's too wide.
I don't know if that was contact or not, but super wide in contact with Svetens. Ziedas moving up the field, though. He wants to get into that lead. The one he lost in that last race, already up to P3. A good run from him, side by side between Yuknavicius and Meshkalis behind, but finally Meshkalis
again
went
was
really wide. Was there contact? We don't know, but Zykin moves up to 8th and Kirsis up to 9th because Meshkalis drops back down to 10th. Ziedas, though, on a charge. He's going to try the outside line into that left-hander. No move done, but he might try and cross it on the exit. Again, not enough space for him. He's got Svetens right up behind him, trying to make a move. Juknavičius side by side with Kuts. He went up the hill, but he stays behind. He's got Zaikin right behind him, though, and this is a big, big train of cars once again as they run up the hill. Battle for the lead. Is Shadik going to try and make a move? I don't know. Maybe down into turn 1. He shows his nose, but that's not going to happen. And I think everybody in a single file behind as well. You can have just a tiny little bit wide, but he might try and do something into the braking zone here. Look at all of them. They're bumper to bumper once again as Juknavičius goes to the inside, tries to get that move done on Kuts. They're still side by side. Kuts wants to keep that position. I'm sure he might have a good chance to do it as Juknavičius tries around the outside, and I think he's going to get that move done. And nope, still side by side. They're going to go side by side into the left-hander as well. Battle behind, though. Actually, Zaikin almost lost the position to one of those behind.
That's Miškelis.
I thought he was going to be sandwiched. Oh, contact between Juknavičius and somebody again, and this
Kuts,
time it's
that was
Kuts.
Kuts.
I meant, well, it's the third time he's had contact in that exact same corner. Miškelis and Kuts having contact as well as Miškelis runs out wide. He's still able to stay side by side, but more contact than I think. That is championship charge done for Kuts, who's gone from a great position to a bad one. Shadik though trying to make a move on Jofert. Talianos running away at the front at the moment as Shadik gives a little bit of a push on the exit. I think he's got the... Nope, he doesn't have the space on the inside. I thought he had that move maybe done.
There was a contact, I believe, which slowed Radekis down, so he had to back out of it. And Svetens now comes really close. He'll gonna be careful. Ažola's corner is the corner where moves can happen, but everyone stays in the order that they are. Taliano still leads this race. He now has 1 second advantage because the drivers behind him are in a battle. Kirsis into the pit lane. The driver who entered this final race in P6 is out of the second race. I think there were more contacts. So we had this battle between Miškelis and Kuts, and I think Kuts ended his race because there were too many contacts before.
No,
and
I don't think he's ended it. He's running down in 21st. I can see him on the map, but he's way back from the rest of the field, so something else happened to him again, and that is definitely championship charge done. He might actually lose second in the championship if this is the way this race keeps on going. Fastest lap of the race from Talianos. No surprise, he's the only one pretty much running in free air. Juknavičius has got some free air in front of him as well, and this time Radekis gets the move on the exit done. He's going to get a push from Svetens from behind as well. That's only going to help him. And wow, 1, 2, and maybe a third one that Jofert is going to lose in terms of positions. Still side by side, but I think Jofert just about held on to 4th there, but still went from 2nd to 4th. Now for Radekis, it's eyes on in front to try and catch up to Talianos as Juknavičius is catching up to this pack as well. And he needs a big point swing from Zaikin, who's running right behind him.
Oh yeah, Radekis tries to compensate the first race. He was leading the race. If not that contact, he might have finished higher. Now he's up into P2, tries to move away from Svetens, and he'll try to catch up with Talianos. 13 minutes on the clock, 1 second is doable. He needs to make no mistakes here because Svetens is still right on his tail, and all the drivers here are pretty fast. One tiniest mistake can cost you not 1, not 2, but sometimes 3 positions, and Radek is still focused on catching up with Talianos. He first needs to try and get away from Svetens, Jofert, and Skaistkalns. Now Skaistkalns interested in P4. Juknavičius sitting tight in P6, 1 second behind. He's getting closer. He'll have his chance here because these cars are running pretty close to each other. They will slow down at some points of the racetrack. Juknavičius will have the chance to finish a little bit higher. Very important moment for Juknavičius. He's now in front of Zaikin, not by too many places, but most importantly, he's in front of Koots, and that might mean that Koots actually might lose not only the second but also the third position. We need to get our calculators out. Koots is not looking into finishing at any point in this race, so
you would still get points, but only 5. Because points run all the way down to 24th, and we don't even have 24 cars out on track, so he'd still get 5 points. That would be enough for him to at least hold on to a podium position in the championship, but he needs to finish the race. Wherever Žadeikis finishes, that won't change things. Obviously provisional, we don't know how the results will pan out in terms of race 1. As Skaiskons tries to battle with Joford, and Juknavicius approaching as well. Žadeikis though really catching up to Talianos up in front.
Oh yeah, Žadeikis
6th
opened.
gain last time round.
Swetin's even not able to hold on to the speed of Žadeikis, but Žadeikis will have this wall now as soon as he reaches the back end of Talianos. That's not going to be an easy move. Talianos is not a slow driver, so Žadeikis will need a little bit of luck to try and make a fast overtake, because if he's not able to do that, Svetins, Joford, Skaiskons, Juknavicius, all drivers are pretty close to this battle, and if something goes wrong, Žadeikis looking for at least a P2 finish, might even finish a little bit lower. Things happen in these races. This is the final race. Nobody has anything to lose here. Well, everyone has something to lose, but everyone is looking to win something. So we usually see these riskier moves, and look at Juknavicius as Žadeikis sets another fastest lap time. Juknavicius is already on the tail of Skaiskons, starting his recovery drive. He was about 1.5 seconds behind 2 laps ago. Now Skaiskons on the move, and I think that's going to be a nice chance for Juknavicius to gain not 1 but 2 spots in a couple of corners. He's very careful, though tries to find grip on the outside in the stadium corner. That would be a very frightful moment on the real racetrack. It's basically a blind corner, very fast.
Yep. Making a move, or at least he wanted to, but this might be the move for the lead of the race. Žadeikis has got incredible speed, and I think this might just be a done deal, but he goes to the outside. That's a move that he tried before. I don't think that's gonna be enough. It isn't, but I think he'll try and make a move down into turn 1 as Svetins has caught back up. But obviously catching up, as we've seen, is a whole different story from making that move, as Žadeikis still on the back of Talianos, catching up in the slipstream, catching up the hill, and he might have a very, very good opportunity down into turn 1, gives Talianos even a push down the straightaway, as Žadeikis was to the inside. Talianos had to turn in a little bit early. Did he have a bad exit? Not really, and they stay as they were. Juknavicius, though, he's going side by side with Skaiskons, and he'll get that move done even before the corner.
It looks like Skaiskons just slipped off.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to fight that one. Juknavicius moves up another spot, another point gained, as Žadeikis side by side with Talianos, and Svetins might even try and give Žadeikis a push to get him forward and have a chance at second place himself, as they go in side by side behind Žadeikis, and Žadeikis now clearly in the lead and should be able to run away because those two behind are battling. Let's see how much can Juknavicius find up in front. Zaikin has joined that battle as well, so it's from 4th all the way down is just one, from 4th to 7th is just one long stream of cars, and Žadeikis already 0.4 of a second in front, but there's side-by-side action behind, as Juknavicius is trying to make a move on Joford. He was to the outside. He'll try and cut back to find some space on the inside, or might try and actually get the move done on the outside. He doesn't have anybody pushing him from behind for help, and Joford continues to hold on to P4 here, as Juknavicius tries the cut back on the exit. He might even make it work, but he'll be side by side into the right-hander, a little bit of contact, and couldn't get that move done. Now Skaiskans has to make a decision. Does he give a push and help Juknavicius, or does he try and make a move himself? I don't think either option is there for him because he's being hounded by Zaikin behind as well, as they come out of they come up the hill. And at the top of the hill, still nothing for Juknavicius to try and capitalize on, but he's staying close. He's still got that opportunity under a 10th. That's enough of a margin to try and make something. Down into turn 1, he'll go to the outside once again, really late on the brakes. I think he tried to make the move around the outside. That's not gonna work. He needs to find space on the inside. I don't think he does, because now he's more under pressure from Skaiskans, who's trying to go down his inside, and maybe Juknavicius will just about hold on, but Zaikin now tries to go to the outside. Thinks of using that move as well, but backs out of it smartly. For him, it's more about championship points as he goes to the inside. Brave move through there, and they'll continue to be side by side, I think, all the way down. Maybe not. Nope, Zaikin's got the overspeed. He's up into P6, and that's a good position for him in terms of the championship fight with Juknavicius more here. As Juknavicius will try and find that opportunity. He needs as many points as he can get, but I think any chance of a race victory here is pretty much gone. Maybe even a chance at, oh wow, he tries to make the move up the hills, but obviously doesn't have that much overspeed.
Well, he did have an overspeed, and well, I think he did have nowhere to go. He had that overspeed. Jofer made a small mistake on the uphill, and that's why Juknavicius just tried to keep that momentum alive in his car. He didn't want to lift, so he tried the grip on the grass. Now he's under pressure by Zaikin. Zaikin backs out of it. He knows that there's no chance on the outside into the stadium corner, and if he'll try that, Skaiskans is right on the tail. Look at Meškelis. He was 2 seconds behind. He's now right on the tail of Skaiskans. Meškelis was also fast and is also fast here on this racetrack, so he might have a chance here to maybe finish a little bit higher after those few contacts in the beginning of this second race, as Juknavicius still very fighty into turn of the chicane corner. Meškelis now trying to figure out something. This is a battle of 5 cars, and we have only 5 minutes to go. Svetin still right on the tail of Talianos. Žadeikis already 1.5 seconds ahead. So he's looking for a calm finish, but these guys, they have the final minutes of the E-BaTCC 2026 championship, and I think they're having plenty of fun. As you can have just again.
Kutz, by the way, up into P13. That would actually mean that he would stay a point ahead of Juknavicius unless Juknavicius can get in front here, but he tries that outside line again. It's not worked for him before, and it doesn't work for him again, and this time he gets burned because he's going to get passed by Zaikin. A little bit of contact gives a shove, and that might be more positions lost for Juknavicius. As Skaiskans comes through, they'll still be side by side, and I think Juknavicius will hold on to that position.
Ooh.
He does, but he's lost a place.
Meškelis found the tiniest gap on the racetrack, and he used it. All of these drivers are basically of a very high level of driving these simulators. And wow, as soon as they see a chance, they go for it. That's why these battles are so difficult. Everyone has pace, and even the slightest advantage has no meaning here. You have to have the racecraft, and that's what the drivers are doing here. Beautiful driving and no contacts, actually. So it just makes me wish that every race we comment would have a level like this. Small contacts, they happen, but we didn't see huge contact or dramatic consequences except for Kutz and Meškelis. as Jofert still keeps on to that 4th position. He's now defending against Zykin, and I think Zykin found a better way to attack into turn 1. He made himself the inside line possible into the stadium corner. Jofert needs to go wide. Zykin breaks a little bit deep into the corner. Will that leave the door open for Juknevičius? No, he's still behind. He'll try something into the Ąžuolas corner as the 2 cars ahead are still side by side. They will lose a lot of speed, and that's gonna be Meškelis side by side with Juknevičius. Again,
Meškelis took that opportunity. I thought Juknevičius could try and find something on the exit, but he kind of braked in the middle of the track. He couldn't decide where he wanted to go, and Meškelis now capitalizes on that immediately, but he'll be on the outside here.
That's wide.
Too wide, and Juknevičius once again goes through up into 6th. For Zykin, this is very, very dangerous because he really doesn't need to fight any of these guys. He could pretty much lift off and let them all go. The only threat is Juknevičius moving much further ahead, but I don't think that's going to happen as Meškelis is trying to battle for that 6th spot.
That's Juknevičius
no
ahead. That's not
just
going to
yet.
be
2
very
to go.
easy.
It's just 2 to go, and Juknevičius might have the speed here on Zykin, might try and make a move down to the inside. No, I think he's still just that little bit too far away. And Jofert, what a drive from him. He's done a perfect defensive drive so far. He was obviously running in 2nd and lost 2 positions. And look at that cap, it's 5.5, but he's been able to hold this whole pack up behind him for such a long time. A really, really great drive from him so far. Let's see if he can hang on for just 1 more lap. Well, 1.5 laps essentially that's left for him. He defends once again and keeps the position once again. Jofert still up in that P4 spot.
Still not over. Still 1 to go. As the drivers will cross the line, Žadeikis is comfortably in the lead, but Jofert doing a phenomenal job defending from the pack behind. He had different drivers trying to overtake him, and so far nobody could do that, and that's going to be the final lap. Just a couple of corners to go. Actually, this version of the racetrack has not a lot of corners. Meškelis tries the outside line on Juknevičius. That didn't work, but he has the run. He has the overspeed on Juknevičius. Juknevičius, does he have the overspeed on Zykin? Nope, and actually Meškelis has to back out, goes to the outside. Juknevičius defends the inside line into the stadium corner. And yeah, just a couple of opportunities here on this racetrack.
Oh, wide from Meškelis. Oh, and slow from Meškelis as well on the exit there. But he holds on to P7 as Skyscon just goes off the track almost. Juknevičius now an opportunity for him to try and move up a spot that will not change much in his championship. If he would have finished 4th, that would have given him 2nd place in the championship, but it's not going to happen. And, well, this guy's had one hell of a race, too. A dominant performance, 3 seconds to the good at the front. He's been able to do it all in free air. Edna Žadeikis takes his 2nd win of, actually his 1st win of the championship, and wins race 2 here at Nemuno Ziedas, side by side to the line between Jofert and Zykin, who finishes in 5th, but that does not matter as he takes the win in the championship by 10 points. Juknevičius finishes in 6th, and that means he finishes 3rd in the championship. If Kuts can finish in 13th, he does. And Kuts holds on to 2nd place in the championship by just 2 points. That 4th place was so crucial for Juknevičius. He couldn't get through. So, championship standings, provisional, at the end of this one. It's Zykin, Kuts, Juknevičius, Žadeikis, Jofert, Svetens, and Kirsis. Drops a position. So everybody's actually stayed where they were, except for Kirsis and Svetens switching spots. So everything else has stayed as it was before the race. So, yep, interesting situation that we haven't had a change for championship position, even though we had some crazy races that did decide those championship positions. No changes from last round, at least in the top 5. But congratulations to the champion, Zeichen, with, I would say, the last round at the Porsche ring. That's where he got that huge advantage. Secured over Juknautas and Koots. That was him last round who actually moved up the most. He was the actually Zeichen was the one that moved up the most because he was the only one who had won both races in a weekend. So yep, I mixed them up. So actually it was Zeichen who pretty much won the championship, or at least had the best opportunity to win after that great performance last time out. But Koots did a good job to still hold on to second. Just by 2 points ahead of Juknautas. Obviously, provisional results, and we'll see the final ones in probably a day's time or so. And those will all be obviously on both World Sim Series and the Baltic Touring Car Championship sites. But that's it from us for tonight and for this season of the E-BaTCC. It always throws up some incredible races, and this was another one of those. Thank you for following along in this whole championship. And we'll see you next year for the E-BaTCC, but obviously racing action on World Sim Series doesn't end, and the new season of A Dream to Drive is underway as well. So for your chance to win a seat in a Porsche Cup car, head on over worldsimseries.com and sign up for the Dream to Drive competition as well. But that's all from us tonight, and see you next time.
All my life been looking for it. I think I found something to help with easing the pain. This voice inside my head isn't dead. I think it's growing. Soon we will be one and the same. I've been going to the racetrack. Spent all my money on the dog in the bed. I put my heart into an 8-track. How about that? My life was perfect, now it's starting to crack. Oh no.